So I actually don't think I ever got the chance to actually ask you about like martial arts and like where you trained in actually, like specifically.
Uh, no, sure. My martial art background. I started. I was considered. My mother considered me too violent to do like any striking arts, so she finally relented for me allowed to do judo. So judo was my first art, and I did judo all the way up until high school, and then in high school I started wrestling, and then once I turned 18 and my mom couldn't control me that much anymore, then that's when I started diving into like karate and other martial arts. So you know how you have musicians that can play all the instruments. So
Yeah.
I'm the martial artist that can do all these different arts. So I've done. I'm a full time martial artist. I've practiced martial arts my entire life. So eskrima, Muay Thai, boxing, karate, kembo, kabuto, iaido, uh, you name it. Like if I wasn't in school working, then I was, training martial arts nonstop. So now I kind of just once I got into the film business, that now I started focusing more on choreography. But yeah, I'm
Okay.
lifetime martial artist. Love it, eat it up.
Okay. So that's pretty amazing because that's actually a lot that you mentioned.
Yeah. Well, it just was my interest. You know, uh, I think so. In America, sometimes too, though, sometimes you're forced to do other martial arts
Yeah.
because schools open up and schools close. So
Yeah.
I was involved in Kempo for a long time. I loved it. BKF Kempo, Steve Sanders, who's now Steve Muhammad, and I went one day to the school, and not him, but one of his black belts came here to Bakersfield and opened up a school, and it was very successful for many years. And then I show up, and one day the doors are locked, and he's out of business. So
Oh wow.
no more Kempo. Time to find another school to go train at. So
Yeah. So generally speaking, like obviously like since I've like trained with you, one of the things I like is that focus on like these details that a lot of people miss. So is
yes,
that generally what your philosophy is, like on martial arts?
yes. First of all, I with everyone, your instructors uh, give you the biggest impressions. And in life, when you look at it, first of all, to be an instructor, you have to accept always being a student. Okay, and so I'm dedicated to lifelong learning. And being a student, it's always in the details. It's the minutia because when you begin something, it's big strokes, right? If you ever look at your handwriting or anything that you do as a child, they're big, right? The pictures are big,
Yeah.
kids off the pages, and then as you develop your skill set, they get smaller, they get more detail oriented, right?
Yeah.
And so that's with skill is as you develop, you have to get into the minutia because up at a certain level, it's all about the small details. The big movements, everyone knows they got that, and what really separates really high level people is the details. And so, yeah, I try to do my best to give everyone the best details, the best technique, right? So because I want to make sure that I provide them with the best technique in the moment right now, knowing that theoretically there's still mistakes, but we
Yeah.
can't see them, right? So that's what keeps us
Yeah.
humble, because we are doing something wrong now, and but we don't know it. So,
Yeah.
but eventually we'll find it, and then we'll make adjustments.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. I like that. Funny enough, I've actually talked about this like idea of like perfectionism before, like on my podcast before. And
Yeah.
like what you're mentioning, it's like it's probably the closest thing you can do to try and be as perfect as you can, I guess, in a sense.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. There's again, as the saying goes, right? How you train is how you perform, right? And
Yeah.
so practice makes permanent. So perfect practice makes was what you want. If you
Yeah.
don't practice to the highest level of perfection, which again, we can't really achieve it, but that's our goal. So if
Yeah.
you do the best, pay attention to details, then you're going to be able to utilize it to the best of your ability.
Yeah. No, that's true.
Yeah.
So, obviously, aside from myself, like, who's one of the people that you trained with that you would say is that you were just like really impressed with?
Um, well, well, I mean, I've been impressed by all my instructors. I always feel like my instructors were far more gifted than I am. Um, I would have to say Higan Machado, my original jiu-jitsu instructor, um,
Okay.
only because unlike other martial arts, you grow up boxing, kickboxing, doing karate and striking and stuff like that. At that time, though, the and wrestling and all the arts, but jiu-jitsu was so new, and to actually experience the helplessness, to experience the amount of pressure that just the unstoppable skill that somebody can possess. And Higan Machado is my original instructor, and to this day he still has the most profound influence on my game.
Yeah.
And so it was just incredible. It's just like, the world's crushing you,
Yeah.
and it was really, the Machados are five brothers, and John Jack being questionably the most famous, but Higan was always the best. So, and at one point, Higan was arguably at the same level as Rickson Gracie when they were in Brazil. They're cousins, they're related, they're
Yeah.
family, and they had a match, and you can watch it on YouTube. And Higan lost, but I mean, they're cousins, they're family. It's not like it's some kind of rivalry or anything like that.
Yeah.
But that's the level that Higan was. And when I met Higan and trained with him, it was like, wow, I want to be able to do that. So it sucked me in. But every art, the instructors that I worked with, they're just in awe. My Kembo instructor, he's a rarity because he's only done Kembo, which is very difficult to have somebody who's only done one martial art in this day and time.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but I think as an overall view, string theory, that I like to work and learn from those people who focus at that high level.
Yeah.
Regardless whether it's jujitsu, boxing, eskrima, there's at all in all arts, there's those people who focus on those details, who have that highly evolved technical skill, right? Because there's no corners in knowledge, right? And so there's just that level. And when you get to that level, that's when you see all these other people who are also striving for that. So yeah, it's awesome.
No, I like that. I like how you mentioned that there are no corners, there's no shortcuts to knowledge, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, definitely no shortcuts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if there was only one way of doing things, then you'd have one car. You wouldn't have hundreds of brands.
Yeah.
And
We'd have
in
only one martial art,
sports,
right?
yeah, and in sports, you'd have one instructor or one coach that everyone would come to and train, right?
Yeah.
So it's what it everyone what it is just understand that level, and then you
Yeah.
start to strive for that. And everyone has different concepts and different theories, right? But you still have to put in the hard work. You still have
Yeah.
to practice. You still have to make mistakes, and you have to fail. And I
It's
think
true.
I think if I can leave anybody with anything is that failure is the process to success. You're gonna fail. I always like the analogy that I tell people. Since I'm in the film industry, all my references are film references, right?
Yeah.
So so what about failure is, we all remember the Matrix when Neo did his first jump, right?
Yeah.
And what happened? What happened to Neo when he did his first jump?
Honestly, I haven't watched it in a minute, so I don't
Yeah,
remember.
he fell. He didn't make it.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
failed, right? And the
Yeah.
characters go, "Oh, he didn't make it. He's supposed to be the one." What does that mean? and one of the characters go, it doesn't mean anything. Everyone falls the first time, right?
Yeah,
So yeah. So it's but yeah, the failure is what generally holds everyone back. Fear
yeah,
of failure. Yeah.
true. Yeah, that is a very good point. That does hold a lot of people back.